So Murad on Twitter, who has $50 million in meme coins and wants to become the world's first meme coin billionaire, has made an outlandish prediction that the SPX 6900 token, which is now a top 100 token in crypto, will go to trillions of dollars of market cap, which is over 1,000x return from its current price. This is what the people want, he writes, and they will make it happen. And he now more recently has given a specific timeline of when he thinks this is going down. He says, this is October 13th, 1 week ago today, $200,000 plus Bitcoin, so $200,000 per Bitcoin in a straight line over the next 2 to 5 months. 2 to 5 months is his new projected timeline. And top cults he refers to his meme coins like the SPX 6900, he believes is the number one meme cult, should we say, in crypto, to 100x from here. So 100x from a $1 billion market cap would take it to a $100 billion market cap. But we have been chopping around the $1 to $1.50 mark for a long time. And a lot of people are losing faith. And Murad says that this is the exact point. He needs these people to lose faith, sell their tokens onto true believers, so that when we start to go parabolic, which I'm about to show you how crazy things can get in an extremely short period of time, people won't be selling because the tokens are in the hands of the true believers. And the SPX 6900 ranks literally number one in terms of the metric of diamond-handedness out of all meme coins, which is why I'm such a big believer in it. Murad just today, or yesterday, I guess, October 19th, tweeted, "There are months when nothing happens. This is the sideways chop that we've been having for literally months right now. Then there are days when years happen." And it's interesting because I'm a big holder of SPX 6900. I'm a big believer in it. And we have a lot of videos here on the channel educating everybody on why exactly that is. But even for me, like, I think the all-time high so far of SPX 6900 was like $2.30. And right now it's down close to $1. Wow, we're a long way from all-time high. A lot of people would be losing faith because of it. But we're about to break down some very fascinating data together that shows that this is completely normal, because Murad once again says months where nothing happens, even if you're down 50% from all-time highs, and then days where years happen all at once. He says these days are coming. You heard his timeline on our other tweet, the next 2 to 5 months. I mean, 1 3/4 to 5 months, because we've already had a week since he tweeted that. What I want to do in this video is going to be really interesting, because I was fascinated when I started breaking down this data. This is the model that Murad believes that SPX 6900 is focusing, but this on steroids. He thinks it's going to be way stronger than this because of the tokenomic structure and the diamond-handed believers holding the SPX 6900, as well as the higher mimetic ceiling. We have other videos on why SPX 6900, but at least there is going to be a token this cycle that does it. If you're not a believer in the SPX 6900, at least whatever you're holding that you think might hit the $100 billion mark, this is the path that it will likely take in crypto, because this is Dogecoin. You can see it very close, almost hit that $100 billion valuation in the 2021 bull market. In fact, this is January right here, this candle, the start of Jan, it's Jan 27th, so I guess the start of Jan's down here, 2021, all the way to about April or May 7th, 2021, when it did hit that all-time high. Now, you can see here, this is between 2 to 5 months. This is where Murad believes we are in terms of SPX 6900, because this is the 2 to 5 month timeline where things go absolutely parabolic. And when you look at a graph like this, you're like, oh, are there days when years happen? It looks like it was basically up only in this time period. I broke down the numbers between January 1st all the way down to that all-time high of May 7th, and I asked ChatGPT, help me out a bit, and I said, how many all-time highs were there in this period? And I mean, you can just see the data. Any all-time high I've marked here in green when it hit the all-time high, and we're going to go through this in a second, but I invested $1,000 hypothetically on January 1st before that 2 to 5 months of parabolas started. And you can see we had one all-time high right out the gate, had to wait to the end of the month of January before we had 2 all-time highs in a row, had a week of red, including a 40% pullback, and then we had 3, 4, 5, 6 all-time highs, 57 days, guys, of down only and chop. We'll show you that in a second. And then 4 days of all-time highs and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of all-time highs to give us, guys, a shocking fact and a really eye-opening fact. If you're holding on to the SPX 6900, there are only 13 days in this absolutely crazy parabolic venture from literally low $1 billion market cap, right where we are right now with SPX 6900, all the way to $100 billion. So there's only 13 days where you could say, wow, my portfolio is currently maxed out. And that's only 10% of the total days. It was 127 days it took to get there. This breakdown here is even crazier than that. So if we put $1,000 in on January 1st, when it had 2 to 5 months to go to all-time highs, just like we're predicting the SPX 6900 has to go, you would hit out the gate a crazy return of 86%. Now, we haven't seen an 86% return day almost in a year plus for the SPX 6900. So people do not know what that feels like. But these market caps, they mean nothing to people when the hype and the narrative starts. So you would instantly in a day almost doubled your money. Then you wear it back down to 1300 before you almost 4x your money up to $6,000, and then add another 38% to $8,200 by the end of January. But that's not where this thing stopped, because Feb, you had 13 grand. You had 57 days of pullback, guys, where even your totals came back down into the 4 figures, $8,600, 57 days of red, and literally like, damn, I should have sold at all-time high. We're down a long time before 4 days back to back. 32%, 30%, 50%, and 100%. Doesn't seem that crazy percentages. I mean, even today, I think SPX is up something like 15%. But if you can just stack these one on top of the other, even after 57 days of chop and backwards action, all you need is 4 strong days, which go back to Murad's tweet. There are days when years happen. In these 4 days, you literally turned 12 grand into $64,000. Then we had another long couple of weeks of pullback for our 60 grand turned into 70, 90, 115, all the way up to the all-time high of $120,000. If we break this down, guys, this is shocking. If you miss just the top 5 days of the Dogecoin run-up between $1 billion and $100 billion market cap, instead of making 120 grand from your $1,000, you would have only made $16,000. A 16x multiple, which is amazing. We'd all love a 16x multiple, especially if you can put more than $1,000 in. But 86% of the gains are gone because you did not hold the top 5 days. That's just the top 5 days. And if you miss the top 10 days out of 127, you had 127 days of holding, but you sold for just 10 of them, you'd only have a 5.6x multiple at $5,600 from your $1,000. 95% of the gains gone from what you'd have if you just literally sat there and held them to 120,454. And this is why Murad says, during every crypto cycle, the holders of the best coins, you have to dictate what coins you think are best. Murad, and thanks to Murad myself, thinks that the SPX 6900 is the best coin in the best category. Meme coins, they have no real ceiling, nothing anchoring them down price point wise, and everyone can understand and get behind them, especially if they have a mission movement like the SPX 6900 to flip the stock market. And he believes if you hold, emphasis on hold and not trade, you'll outperform all traders. As you saw, you miss the top 5 days and you lose 85% of your results. The best category in this cycle, Murad believes, is meme coins. Holders of the best meme coins will outperform all gamblers, traders, and rotators. Buy, believe, and hold. He follows this up by saying, this cycle, believers outperform all traders. And I want to show you an example that Michael Saylor was talking about before I show you probably the craziest thing that I've found while breaking down this Dogecoin run from the $1 billion where we currently are with SPX all the way to our target goal. Well, it's not our target. Our goal is to flip the stock market. I understand that. But at least this cycle, Murad is planning on about $100 billion plus market cap. And I saw Michael Saylor talk about this exact thesis that Murad is saying with Amazon stock. This is Amazon.com, obviously one of the biggest companies in the world. Stock is currently valued at $213. And this little bump right here, guys, is the .com bubble, where I believe they lost 95% of their value. Michael Saylor says you would have to be a serious idiot if you were day trading Amazon stock. He says if you're on the verge of a revolution and you're a believer in the coin, and this is why he says volatility is a gift to the faithful, it's because you literally just have to buy and go away and wait till your stock does 100, or in this case, like 200, 300x return. Now, this one took many years. Dogecoin took literally at 4 months, 5 months. But looking at this Dogecoin chart, so let's go back to this 2021 run up where you can see there is a lot of days of chop, a lot of days down from their prior all-time highs, including this massive wick where everyone's going to wish they sold because it almost goes, what does it go, from 12 bill down to a $4 billion market cap in one day. I want to point out, one, you don't have that many chances to sell when things are this quick. Have a look at 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and you've gone from a $9 billion market cap to a $60 billion market cap, a 6x. And then you quickly wick all the way back down to a $30 billion market cap. And just a few days, a handful of days after that, back down to a $16 billion market cap. So if you are taking profit in this cycle, you want to make sure you're dollar cost averaging out so you can average the up cycles when we do go parabolic. The other thing that is honestly mind-blowing, I have to keep checking, I have these on daily candles. The volatility on this is absurd because at the moment, the SPX is valued total, guys, at $1 billion market cap as Doge was back here, like literally here before this climb up right there, back in January, Friday, 1st of January, 2021 at the start of the year. And then the volatility in the day far outperforms even anything close to that market cap. So have a look at this. The volatility on this one day here on 19th of May, 2021, it peaked at $64 billion and bottomed out at $25 billion. There's literally a $35 billion market cap of volatility in the intraday trading. And let's even have a look at a day that doesn't look that volatile. Let's take this green candle right here, 24th of April. It peaked at 38 bill and the bottom of it was 28 bill. The volatility on that day was 10 times the market cap from the start of the year, 10 times the current market cap of the SPX 6900. This is what happens when the mainstream come, a lot of liquidity comes, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of people taking profit on the way up and obviously a lot of demand of people getting in. You're going to have these massive intraday swings where, wow, if we're down 12% on the week, I'm like, oh, SPX isn't looking very good. I know we shouldn't be looking that close up because we're believers. We have a mission, we have a community. When there's no chart, that's why I haven't showed the chart, at least in this video. But a 12% pullback in a day would have been a small amount of volatility in that day trading. So make sure you know your price targets, make sure you're dollar cost averaging your sells, make sure you are holding a moon bag for when we do go to that $1 trillion or even that $60 trillion to flip the stock market. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.